Welcome back, everybody. Your host, Robert Taylor, with Wonderscape Studios here, on with the final episode of this tutorial for this series. Final episode of this series, I should say, for the interaction system. Now, this one doubles as multiple tutorials because we're going to make it work with the interaction system. Now, the reason why it doubles as multiple tutorials is because this also helps with zooming and changing from third person to first person camera. So, we're going to go ahead and get that going. A couple questions you have to ask yourself when it comes to setting up this part of the system, zooming and then changing cameras, is where do you want the code to be? Now, the changing camera obviously should be with the, in this case, a third person character template. Whatever your character is what it should be. Now, that being said, what if you are going to be, what if you want your zoom and then your scrolling to use the exact same keys? If you do, then you need to make sure that you place them where all of your other functionality goes for your keybinds. That is highly recommended. Now, if you're only ever going to use, in our case, the mouse wheel zoom, pushing forward and pushing back and pulling backwards as the zoom, if that's the only way you're going to use it, you can easily just put it in the interaction system component, and it'll work right there from there. And if that's what you choose to do and you can't figure it out after this tutorial, reach out to me and I'll make sure that I help you out with that, because there are a couple extra steps to make it work. Now, if you have the intent of making it to where they can hold down a hotkey and then use the scroll wheel to quickly choose an ability and click it, or you're going to have an inventory that is in a window but has a scroll down box, then you're going to want to have this keybind where all the other keybinds are generally placed. Now, as I've already said multiple times, usually where I have my keybinds is in my third person controller. In fact, if I show you my notes, all of my everything for the input, I even put what's generally in the player controller. I mean, not in player controller, within the player. So if I come in here, this is all that's in there, and that's for a different tutorial. So that's where I place all this, and that's for a different tutorial. This is how I have it set up, and that's just me. For the sake of this tutorial, I will keep everything here in the third person character. Again, if you have any issues placing it elsewhere and you need help, please reach out to me, and I will make sure that we get that situated and taken care of. Now then, with that said, first thing we need to do is we need to set up some inputs. First thing we will do is the zooming. So we're going to come over here, go into your project settings, go into inputs, and we are going to want to add, I'm just verifying here, sorry. Yes, we're going to want to add 2 action mappings. So come over here, plus. I'm going to name this one zoom in / scroll up. Oops, there we go. And then for this one, now if you click on this and you do up, it's just going to say mouse wheel axis. And if you're wanting to do it as an axis mapping, you could. Me, I don't. So you're going to actually have to click into here and type mouse wheel up. There it is. Which means this one is mouse wheel down. And then I'm going to name this one zoom out / scroll down. There we go. I have those set up. Now we're going to come into here. And the very first thing we shall do, sorry, again, I'm grabbing my notes here. We're going to right click, zoom in / scroll up. Now, I put all these into functions. It's cleaner, it's simpler, and I like to keep things as organized as possible. So you can put it in a function if you want, or don't put it in a function. Either way, it's up to you. We'll click on this here, and from here we will type in zoom in. Now we're going to want two inputs. We're going to place in here local player ref, and then in here local interact ref. Now then, for this, we need to make it BP. This one is third person character. And then this, we want to be AC interaction component. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reach out from the local player reference and do camera boom. I guess you could do get camera boom, that would be easier. Then from here, we're going to be getting the get target arm length. Then come out of here, put in a minus node, so subtract. And I'm just going to hard code this into 20. You can do what you want with it. That way you can have it per instance if you want to. And then I'm going to set up a clamp. And the reason I want to do that is because I don't want them to zoom out indefinitely, nor do I want them to zoom in indefinitely. So we'll put the minimum, so the smallest it can be is at 140. And the max it can be is at 800. Now the next thing we're going to do is pull out of here and type in set target arm length. Pull over here, place that in there like this. And now we have this doing its thing. Sorry, there we go. Compile, save. If I come over here into the event graph and I put this in here, place that right there, local ref, I'll put as self. Compile, save. Come in here and we hit play, we're zooming in. But we can't zoom out yet. But we have zooming in working. Now, next step is we need the local interact reference. Now you can pull all the way out if you want to, but the reason why I named this local is so that it's easy to find. And I'll type in get local interact reference. So this is literally this. Good to know, right? Now from here, we're going to pull out and get the interact. Let's do get interaction range. And then we're going to come out of here, put a plus, and an add, make this 100. And then from here, we're going to come over here to this, get a subtract, and we're going to make this 20. So what we're doing here is essentially what we did here. Copy and paste. I'm going to place that right in here. But I'm going to clamp the min and max right there like this. That way it doesn't go any further either. Because if we don't keep it in check at 100 of what this is, then if I were to continually zoom in, the line trace would continue to grow indefinitely. So we want to clamp this. And then we come back with this and do set interaction range. Set in there like that. And we are good and clean and ready to go. All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the zooming in. It is all set up. It is all complete. So now we have it to where when we hit play, when we zoom, it stays at this length. So I'm going to zoom in all the way. If I go out of the way, oh, whoa. Do I always have it that long? No, there is an error. I did something. I know what I did wrong. Silly mortal. Okay, here's what we did wrong. Coming here to the event graph. We have nothing there. So we need to come here to this interaction component. There we go. Compile and save. So right here, it's all set up. We zoom in. Out, it's not going to continue to go. Now obviously I have this set up slightly different. If I go into mine real quick, I want to see what my usual size is. If I come here to the interaction component, I usually have mine set to 500, so that's why. And that's why you generally don't want to hard code things. So you saw when we zoomed in, it stopped working properly. So if we come back into here to zoom in, and if we change this to, what is the characters? I have this set to 600. So we want this to be 200. It should, and now it should work as intended. Right here, zoom in, it's still doing it how it should now. That's why hard coding is dangerous, but I am doing that for the sake of time. We can setting that up as variables to pull from other places is something that we can do in the future together as we see fit. So now we're going to go and make the zoom out. What I'm going to do here is place this here. Now, this is essentially the same with only a couple of differences. So I'm not going to redo all of this right here. Instead, I'm going to right click on zoom in, hit duplicate, and we're going to name it zoom out. Now, the differences, although small, are pretty important to note. This needs to be turned into a plus. Pretty much anything that is a subtract will now turn into an add. So now that we have this made, copy, come over here to this. Come over here to this one, paste it, delete, place this right there into here. And there you go. That is quite literally zoom in and zoom out. Compile, save. We're going to come over here, and now we're going to right click and do zoom out. Scroll down. And then I'm going to come over here and get the zoom out function. Pressed, we'll do this. Put self into self, this into local. Compile, save. Now if we hit play, zooming in, zooming out. There we go. Now we have the zooming working. So the next step we're going to do is adding a first-person camera to the third-person template, or whichever one you have, to get it set up and working correctly. So in order to do this, I'm going to come on over here, go to viewport. We're going to select this camera. I keep it named follow camera, yep. But what I'm going to do is Control C, Control V. And now I have another camera. But I'm going to name this one head camera. And I wanted a child of the mesh. Now that I'm going to pull this over here, obviously now it's not centered anymore because of the root, which is fine. And how I have mine set up is for the location on X, I have 5. For the Y, I have 15. And for the Z, I have 0. Wait, I don't have 0. Quite interesting. Is that... Nope. The Z is not supposed to be at 0. I don't know why it's showing it that way, but we're going to... Why do you do this to me? So first off, I'm going to set this to 5, so I can get this right there in the center. It is indeed strange that mine shows it. Interesting. If I put this to 10, that's not how we want it. We want it at 0. I don't know why mine is showing at 10, 15, 0. Something must have happened, but mine works. So now we have this to 15, and we have this at 170. Not sure how the magic worked there for mine, but this looks identical to how my original one is, so I'm not going to question it. We're going to compile and save. Now, it's important that we do this. If we come over here, there is an auto activate. With this one, we want check marked on because we want to default, we want to start at third person. So this one we need checked off. Otherwise, regardless, it's going to go to the follow camera first because it's the topmost camera. But just for cleanliness sake and to make sure nothing happens, we want this one check marked off. Now we're going to go into the event graph. But before we do that, we now need to go back to project settings. And we need to create a new event because you may want to toggle perspectives. So toggle camera. I set mine to pushing down on the middle mouse button. You can set yours to however you want. Anyways, now we come up here. Oh, right, mine's not in there. I'm gonna come over into here. Now I'm going to right click and type toggle camera. Now, the first thing we're going to want to grab is the follow camera. I'm going to place that in here. We're going to come over here and type is active. And obviously put that into a branch. If it is active, we are going to get the head camera and set active to this. Place that in here. And then we're going to get the follow camera. Again, we want the set active. And we're going to set that just like this. And we're done. No, I'm kidding. We are not done. We then want to set the use controller rotation yaw. We want to set this to true. And then set the interaction component. We need to set interaction range to 200. We're going to place that right in here like this. Sorry, I need to see where I put that. All right, just like that. Cool. And then we have this whole thing set up how we want. We need some space though. We're going to come over here. We're going to create a custom event. And the reason we're going to do that is so that when we're zooming in, once we zoomed in as far as we can, it will automatically place it into first person view. So custom event in max zoom and place that, whoops, just like this. Now we're going to copy paste, come over here, place that into here, check mark, uncheck that, check that, uncheck this, you know, to save up on nodes here. Now clean this up a bit. Because I want to. And we need to fix this problem right here. Otherwise now it's always going to be stuck like this and all the work we did right here is irrelevant. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, where is it? There's no begin play in here. Get begin play. We're going to get the interaction component. We're going to set, no, we need to get interaction range. Right click, promote to variable. We're going to name this new interaction range. I don't know why I put spaces in there this time, but I did. And we're going to set this up just like this. I'm going to hit compile. So the default interaction range is now set. I believe I kept it at 0. I did. In my brain, something's not computing right, so I may have done something wrong or changed something without realizing it, but we'll find out once we're done. Now we come over here and we plug this in to there. Compile and save. I'm gonna look real quick. Aha. Okay, good. We haven't gotten to that part yet. That's why my brain was not computing it yet. Now we have this set. Compile and save. And we need to do another custom event. And we're going to do out max zoom. Place that right here. Compile and save. And now we're going to go back into the zoom in. And at this point, we're going to grab our new interaction range. Hit set. Place that in here like this. Which, now that I think about it, honestly, we don't need this at all. Not needed. Compile, save. Go back into zoom in. So now we have the new range set, and we need a branch. And in that branch, we want to get from the local player reference, we want to get the camera boom. Then from there, we want to get the target arm length. And if it equals, now I have it being exact because that's how I have it set up, because zoom isn't something you want to have all more complex you need. I set this 140. And why I set it to 140? Because the minimum is 140. So once it hits 140, what it's going to do is we're going to come right here and type in max zoom. And that's the custom event we made. Then we're going to come out of here and do a return node. Plug those into each other. Now we're essentially going to do the same thing. So I'm going to select all this, copy, go into zoom out. And then do this. Plug this into here, just like this. And we still want this at 140. But instead of how this is set up now, we're going to go into false and type out max zoom. Place that into the return. And it's set. Compile and save. Now if we come into the world, and if we type the toggle button, I'm now in first person. Oh, but I have an issue. Oh, yep, I know what the issue is. So we need to come in here. Zoom in. No, right here. Well, we have this set how it's supposed to, so I need to come in here to the camera. So I did something wrong in the head camera. There's something that I changed that I forgot that I had. I apologize. Let me find it real quick. Use pawn control rotation. We need to check mark that. Let's see if that's what the fix was. There we go. Awesome. Fantastic. So now we have it set exactly how we want. When we look down, we see ourselves. And as you can see, there's a weird effect going on right there. As you can see myself going in and out like that. And I need to fix that. There was another thing that was changed to make that happen. But anyways, when I come here, that's new. Come here, it works. That's why. That makes sense. Now that makes sense. That's why we need the begin play. Sometimes my brain doesn't want to work properly. So come over here, grab this. We get the get interaction range. We want to set this. That way if we automatically go into first from third, we don't lose out on the new interaction range, because that's how it sets it up in between the two. So we need that, just like this. File save. Come over here. It works. It works. It still works. Fantastic. If I zoom out, it's doing what it's supposed to. If I zoom in, it's doing what it's supposed to. And everything is working. Now I want to make sure that I did everything correctly with my head camera. So give me a quick moment while I double check a few things, because I was not running into that. Alright, it looks like it's just a little annoyance bug that we will make sure that we take care of soon enough, or it very well might be that if we were to instead move this up 5, watch, I bet that solves the issue that you guys probably didn't even see. Okay, I can still do that. Yep, solved the problem. That's what the problem was. For those that aren't aware of what was happening when I would go backwards, there would be a quick, brief second of me seeing the back of my head. That is now solved and not an issue, and we are set perfectly. That is the interaction system, ladies and gentlemen. Later on today, today of this episode airing, I will be also releasing this whole project for free. So thank you for following along with me on this. And if you have anybody who is in need of an interaction system, you can send them to this tutorial or to the video that I'll be sending out, releasing it free to the public to utilize however they want. Thank you so much for your support and for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you run into an issue, please make sure you leave a comment down below or join my Discord and leave them there. Look forward to joining in the next tutorial series with you in the mechanics, which will be fast travel. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of use cases with fast travel. So have a good one, and I'll see you in the future.